Okay, so this is a part 2 that I'm recording to myself so I can play back and remember. Now, I've had many trips and they're mainly awesome, but I'm also in the right headspace and I want it. And this experience was impulsive. I decided that I wanted to do it and I had leftover whatever. And so I decided to go and do it. As I'm doing it, I looked at the dosage. I knew the dosage was incorrect, and I only wanted to take a bit. I took a bit at first, and I literally knew that was a good, just that mouthful. I'm good, right? And I looked at the rest, and there's only like a little bit left in the bag. I'm like, oh, I don't want to waste it. But my inner soul, my intuition's like, you take that, just a little bit more, but you take that, you're going to have a not so nice experience. But I was like, I heard it, I knew it, and I still chose it. I still chose it because I'm like, oh, I don't want to waste it, and I don't want to do it another time because that's just like not a lot to feel anything by itself. So I took it. And honestly, what a fucking dumb idea. What a fucking dumb idea. Especially because I didn't listen to my intuition, which I always do. So I knew I was in for a bad time. So calculate the bad headspace, incorrect dosage, and you've got yourself a fucking profoundly terrible experience, but also empathetic and eye-opening. And yeah, it was so many other things. That was the first part that I recorded was only just some. It was just very intense and ongoing, and just like I was pulled into 1,000 different things. I felt like I was pulled into different people's lifetimes, like different people's actual life. Like I was actually living it through their eyes. I was in their body. I felt all their things, and then I moved on to the next, and it was just really, really intense. But it started off as just like, when I took it, of course, the feel-good emotion, the altered state. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the good stuff, because I know what that feels like. And if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? I know you know, like the start of the trip. But it's just like, ooh. And then your body feels buzzy and you feel open. Your chakras are open. Ooh, like you're in for a good time. Things start blurring up and you start. That's when like you go and do a meditation. Wow, you see profound things. You feel profound things. You can shift a lot of stagnant emotions and energy. But this time was not a good time. Why? Because before I took the bloody things, the shrooms, you know what I'm saying, I had already did a meditation and I was feeling so good and grounded, and that after was such an impulsive decision, and I knew, I heard it, I felt it, that it was a bad decision, and I still chose it. So therefore, it led me down the path of this 4-hour absolute hell. But every time I do shrooms, every other time, it feels like such a short time. I'm like, oh my god, I wish I could have like a really long trip. Like everyone says, and it'll go for 3 hours, but the 3 hours will feel like nothing to me. Well, this time, I felt every fucking millisecond. That was just not a good time. Sorry, boys, sleep next to me. And I feel like I need to clarify a few things, because now it was just a lot. And I want to remember it so that I can remember. But I can't do that. I can't not listen to my intuition. That's what it is. I mean, it's really not the shrooms. It's not that, because I've had amazing experiences on it. It's when you don't listen to your intuition, you're in a vibe. Like, if you're not in a good headspace, do not do it. If you're not feeling up to it, if you're not, just something telling you not to do it and you still do it, that's when it's not a good time. Like, I've done DMT and it was the same thing. It was like telling I wasn't ready, and so therefore I couldn't explore realms that I wanted to explore. And they told me I wasn't ready as well, and my body wasn't ready. Like, when I took it, I instantly felt like ego death. My body just would not let me go. Oh my god, I'm just blabbering. Oh my god, I have to listen to this shit tomorrow. It's crazy. But yeah, basically I lived so many different people's lives, and I just really got to experience firsthand what people who are suffering truly suffer through. Like, I suffered through that trip, but I realized that people literally live like that, in that state, in that altered state, and it's very, very hard. And also I saw a lot of, like, what I feel like was like dark online stuff. I felt like I was watching it, so almost like when I said about that murder thing, I felt like I paid to watch like a live murder. That's what it felt like, that I was watching it through like a television, like an old television screen. I don't know how to say that. But at the same time, I was also the person doing it, and at the same time, I was also that person on the floor. So I'm saying, like, it's just insane. Like, you get pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled into these different realities and moments and times and fragments, and just like the constant colours and the bending, which I normally love, but in this trip I just like, fuck, please, it's so exhausting. At this fucking point in time, I just felt, yeah, it was just, I wanted it to end, and I think because I wanted it to end, it just kept going, you know what I mean? And it's calmed down a lot now, but my body still feels like really hyped, but my mind is just utterly exhausted, and I have to get up and do life tomorrow in a couple of short hours. Wow, not a good time. Another thing I noticed is that, like, my body cannot regulate temperature, so like my consciousness and my body are out of sync. So I have like a lot of blankets on because I was really cold at first, but then I was also really actually overheating, and I couldn't regulate temperature, and I couldn't move to like take off the blanket. I felt paralyzed at the same time. I was thinking I was in a fetal position this whole trip, but then I heard my partner go, "Oh," like that, and I was like, "What?" And then I realized I was like diagonal across the bed, like legs fully straight, like no one could lay next to me. I was just in one of those positions where it's like, how could you possibly get comfortable laying next to me? Yeah, just other weird things was like things like that. And also like with scratching, because I scratch a lot because I've got TSW, topical steroid withdrawal. So like I'd scratch and it would feel amazing, but then I didn't know when to stop. I couldn't stop, and I didn't know when to stop. And I kept feeling like, wow, my skin feels really sore, and I realized like I'd been scratching for a while. I didn't even realize. And then when you stop scratching, the feeling after, like your sensory, your nerves, it was just like imminent. It was just there, it was just lingering for ages. And that was another thing. I was like, wow, this is not a good time. This is all within a trip, mind you. Like, I'm telling you 1,000 things, or myself, 1,000 things. And this is all happening simultaneously, but also at the same time. So like, I don't know. It's just, there's so much. I'll never do this in a fucked up headspace. Even though it wasn't fucked up, I don't know. It was like profound and exhausting and not for me. It was just not for me. I think I'll stick to just regular meditation when I can. And just close energy field, not listening to these kinds of things. But this is what I wanted to record, sorry. This is what I wanted to take away. Was I was like having a terrible time, but also just like laying with my thoughts. And then this voice came and he's like, yo dog. I can't believe I'm saying this. He's like, yo dog, have you ever been alone? And I was like, yeah, I love being alone. I'm alone a lot. And he goes, no, alone. And I was like, what are you talking about? Of course, I love alone time. Like, you know, when the kids go to bed or whatever, like, that's my time. And he goes, no, without the sounds, without the iPad, the TV, the YouTube, ever just being alone. And I was like, yeah. He's like, with your thoughts, purely. And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, I haven't in a while. I haven't really checked in like that. And I was like, because I sleep with music or meditation stuff. So that's the iPad always going. I am always on my phone, so there's that. And my idea of alone time is just like doing what I want, but it does involve technology. So I guess I'm not really truly alone. I'm just physically alone. And then I was like, to that voice, I was like, well, I guess not. I guess I haven't been really alone in a while. He goes, yo, you should try that. You should try that, dog. I was like, okay, sure, why not? So I turned off like my phone, and this was like at the very start of this trip. I turned off my phone, I turned off like the drumming meditation music, and I just laid there with my thoughts with my eyes open, and I could just see the matrix. I could just see, which I can see all the time normally, but because I'm on a trip, I could like hone in on the visuals, and it was just like really small. They look like icons. And they'd change, there'd be like numbers, or there'd be like smiley faces, or just little things, just really, really tiny up close. It's just really, I can't explain it. It sounds absolutely insane. But yeah, and that's what it was. And I just laid there with my thoughts, and these thoughts were just like passing, and I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, wow. And it was profound, because I was like, wow, I'm not often alone, like truly lights off, sound off, and just like connecting with nothing but just me, just existing within me. I was like, shit, I don't do that enough, and it'd probably be better experience, and it'd probably be a lot more peaceful if I did. And I was like, well, that's food for thought. And I guess that's why I'm recording this now, because that's what I wanted to take away from this, because I'll probably forget when I wake up in the morning, and I don't want to. So that's why I'm making this recording. And this was a long-winded spiel, glockenspiel. But yeah, that's what I wanted to take away from it, along with empathy for, I guess I know what my boys feel like when they have high sensory, like on a deep and meaningful level, and they live like that. And that'd be a lot. And I'm so proud of them, and I'm so proud of anyone who goes through those, like lives in these states, because it is exhausting, and you just have to end up finding like coping mechanisms. And I understand why people do, struggle. And yeah, just love other people, be empathetic to other people, understand that these others are just like, they need us, we need unity and love, and that's what I need to take away from that always. And that's what I felt. Anyway, I'm pretty tired now, because it's been fucking exhausting 4.5 hours. I think it's 3.5 hours. I'm just mumbling now. I can't believe. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Who knows? Farewell.